Hi, Matt with eTrailer. If you're in one of two situations where you're trying to move either your vehicle in a really tight spot in your garage, or you're trying to back up your trailer somewhere and you have tandem axles and you're using the dolly to move it with, and you want that process to be a little bit easier, then the Trailer Valet Wheel Dolly is going to be a great option for you. And to paint more of a picture for you, if you have a car that's in your garage and it's not moving a whole lot, maybe you're doing a little bit of maintenance to it every now and then, you can actually use 4 of these. They do come in sets of 2 to move that car around. You won't have to use any additional dolly. It's actually something you can push with your hands. So that's pretty cool. Now, if you're in the situation like we are in right now, where we want access to this bay right over here, this can be a pretty tight spot, and it's not always going to be ideal to really back up into. Now, this is one of our new add-ons we have at eTrailer, and to help us out sometimes, we could even use a trailer dolly. Now, those dollies are great, but sometimes you're going to face the issue when you have that tandem axle. Because I kind of worked with it some yesterday, and it was a little bit difficult to make those really sharp turns, anything around 90 degrees. And what this is going to do is help align those tires when you are backing up. Because a lot of times they can really fight each other if you're making those really sharp turns, and this is just going to make that process a lot easier to work with. Enough talking about it though, let's actually check it out. So I'm actually going to be using the MV Pro again. So I did use that last time without any of these wheel dollies, and it felt pretty good. The main issue though, when I was trying to move it, when I tried to make those really tight turns, I actually couldn't use a drill. The reason being, there was just too much pressure behind it. Now I am using a 12-volt drill. I wouldn't recommend anything over 18 volts, and neither does Trailer Valet. But now earlier I tried using just a 12 volt, and it was able to make those turns super easy. But that should show you what I mean. I'll move it now. Last time when I was moving this, I was kind of struggling, especially with the hand crank. This time, I can really just rely on using the drill. So when I'm making my turns, this isn't too bad. You can see back there, the tires are looking pretty good. And something else that's really going to affect how everything's going to operate and feel is going to be if you're going up a slope or an uneven spot. Really, we hit an uneven spot and we had some issues. But that's really going to depend on where your location is and your dolly. Really, the whole process of really using the wheel dollies is helping me out a whole lot now. And right now you can see we are coming up on a crack. And right now I'm pretty impressed with this. We are going up a little bit of an incline. We've hit a 90-degree turn so far, and we're still able to use the drill. Not too much of a fight. And I think the trick to going over these cracks is just keep that momentum up so you can get across there. And you can even tell we have some softer soil in there, and it really didn't stop this at all. So far this is impressing me. Now that we got this inside, we can take a closer look at the specs. So if we're using it in the way that we're using it right now for tandem axles, this is going to have a weight capacity of 7,000 pounds. Now we are really pushing that capacity today on the trailer we have, and you might run into some spots where you find it's really hard to jack up if you're really pushing that capacity, or you might not be able to get it to work at all. We actually had to move it to the front axle, and part of that is going to be due to our environment. We were on a little bit of a slope, and that can really change how things are really going to work. So you might have to do a little bit of problem solving. But if you're using it in a different way, if you're just trying to move that vehicle around in your garage, then for each one of these in a singular use, it's going to be rated for 2,000 pounds. So when you're moving your vehicle around your garage, you're going to be using 4 of these, and that will have a max capacity of 8,000 pounds. If we take a closer look at the construction, this will be made out of steel, and it's going to have a black powder coat finish to it. That finish is going to help it last longer, so if it is in any rainy conditions, then it'll be less likely at rusting. And also looking at the steel, when I first saw it, it has this more of a slim design to it. And I was actually pretty impressed it could handle 7,000 pounds like this. And what I actually like about that is that slimmer design helps it a lot easier to be stored in your garage. And then if we take a closer look at the wheels, these wheels are going to be made from a polyurethane. So you can tell how they're holding up. We are kind of getting some bits that are digging into it. but I think it's holding up pretty well so far. We've been using this all day today, and we're going to have this ball bearings made of steel in here, and that's going to allow it to make those full rotations. Now we are going to have a total of 6 wheels per dolly, and they're even going to come with this on and off switch. What that's going to do is allow this to kind of stick into place so it's not going to roll around on you. You'll only have 2 of these per dolly, and what this is going to be great for if you're just kind of stowing this away somewhere for just a short period of time, you'll be able to do that, kind of give you a little bit more peace of mind. I know some people will actually store it like that. I wouldn't recommend it since it is pretty small anyways. You just let this down and then store it somewhere else in your garage since it's not going to take up a lot of room. And then we take a closer look at these wheels. These are going to be made out of a polyurethane material, and that's kind of what provides you more of that smooth glide across the ground. It's also going to be very sturdy and robust, and what's going to help support this is this steel ball bearing right up the top. That's going to allow you to make those full 360 turns, and we will have a total of 6 of these. Now I will say only 2 of them do have these locking switches right here. What that locking switch is going to provide for you is the ability to stow this for just short periods of time. So if maybe I need to step away real quick, I can just make sure I lock that into place so it gives me more peace of mind. Now I know some people will just stow these dollies like this. I wouldn't recommend it, especially if you do have a heavier load on it. Instead, you just simply take this off since it's not going to take up a lot of room in your garage anyways. When you have this stored, you're going to have this little hook on the side of it that holds down this pedal. Just push down on that some and release that hook. That'll go up now. And if we want to actually get it on here, we just need to spread these 2 sections out just like that. Now you might run into the issue if this lever is pointed up. You won't be able to do that because this is actually meant to ratchet it down to make sure it's even tighter. So we want to make sure that lever is pointing down, and then we can spread them out. Sometimes if they won't spread out, you just got to push down one time, all the way up, then it'll release. Then you're just going to push this around your tires. You want to make sure this is going to fit around them completely. So you just need to make sure your tires are within spec, so they're at least 13 inches in width and 32 in height. If they meet those, try to center that up right on here, and then cinch it down into place. What we're going to do from here is just lift up on that lever, just like that. It's also important to make sure your vehicle is either chocked or you got your jack in place, just so it doesn't move too much on you since this is going to be lifting up a bit. And then I'm just going to come over here and just press down on this pedal with my foot. I'm going to lift it all the way up until it clicks again, push down again. Eventually you're going to start feeling a lot more resistance against here. Sometimes I might just kind of grab the side so I can get a little bit more tension. You might have to use your body weight. Something else that's going to be helping us out are going to be these sections here. These are just rollers. That's just going to help get your tires into place and off the ground. Now right now our tire is just slightly off the ground. I would prefer this to be a little bit more, just since if you're going in the spots that have maybe just a little bit of rocks or debris underneath there, your tire could catch on it. So I'm probably gonna go one more time. You're gonna notice I might have to put a lot more force in behind here because my whole body weight sometimes isn't enough. So I'm just gonna push down on that. And this is a far better spot to be. Now, once you're done using it, you're probably want to set this off down too. The simple way of just bringing this back down to the ground is just gonna be coming back over here, pushing that lever down. And what we're gonna do is use that foot pedal once again. And what I recommend is just doing this slowly. So we're gonna press on here. There's gonna be a lot less resistance. Use your body weight to push down, and then slowly let your foot up. You'll eventually reach a point where it's gonna click. That tiny click right there lets you know it's all the way up. You shouldn't have any resistance until you get next to the bottom. Press it down once again, and then you just repeat this process until it's all the way down on the ground. This is gonna open you up to a lot more opportunity when it comes to really moving different types of vehicles with that higher weight capacity. And this is meant to work with tandem axles too. So it's going to open up not just the vehicles in your garage, but also trailers as well. Well, that was just a look at some of the features and how to use the Trailer Valet Wheel Dolly. I'm Matt. Thanks for watching.